Hello, this is Dr. Nuke, and right now I'd like to tell you about how I came to love my boyfriend, Joseph, who is right here next to me. We've been together for 8.5 years, about since Easter, I believe it was, of the year 2014. That's when we officially started going out with each other. I had met him before that, and over a short period of time came to fall in love with him. It wasn't a sudden epiphany as it was for Joseph, but it was over a fairly short period of time I came to fall in love with him. We had dinners together that were romantic. So we spent time together, listened to music together. It was very nice, and I came to love Joseph, and I'm committed to him now for life. There have been difficulties along the way, which have been my fault, and I apologize for them. So now I will let Joseph talk.
Well, my experiences with him were different. Well, let me just add one thing to what Harold said. Harold, not all the difficulties were 100% your fault. I mean, yeah, you did do a mistake, but I've forgiven you for it, so we can move on from that. But I'm hoping that you never do it again and we lay it to rest, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna mention what it is in this video though. Those people don't need to know about it. But how I fell in love with Harold is different. I actually, the first time I would have saw him but didn't was when my mom got in a car accident with me in the car in Sheffield, where me and him live. She almost actually hit him.
Yeah, she hit a utility pole that was about 15 feet away from me right when I was walking by that utility pole. Yeah, when she crashed her car, she was about 15 feet from me.
She almost hit my future boyfriend.
And not only that, she left the scene of the accident, and of course I called it in to get help because I was concerned that she might have been injured, but she walked away from the car.
Talk about some introduction to possibly his future mother-in-law if she was still alive. If she freaking hit him and killed him, or possibly hit him and injured him, can you imagine the future introduction if I met him after that? Can you imagine if he survived that? Can you imagine his future introduction to meeting her after meeting me after that whole thing? Can you just imagine what would happen? Oh my word, he'd probably be traumatized. He probably wouldn't want anything to do with me. Well, the second time I met him, this is when I actually saw him. Something was going on in my apartment. It was when I lived in a studio apartment. And I prefer not to mention what it is. Because it's just not, I'm not going to mention it. He knocked on my door with food, and I didn't know who he was at the time because no one told me it was him. And as soon as I opened the door, which I really didn't want to open the door at the time because of what was going on in my apartment, I looked at him and I just was floored. I instantly knew some reason I just knew that he was the one. I just knew it. I don't know how, I just knew it. And it just something clicked in my head. And I really wanted to invite him in, but I couldn't for a specific reason. And he, of course, he knows the reason, but I'm not going to say it on YouTube. Later on, and of course, I had to make him leave, of course. And I really didn't want to. And of course, I was very nervous back then because I was not out of the closet. Because that was back when I was 20 years old. And I really didn't want to come out of the closet then because my dad back then probably would not have been happy if I did. Stuff like that, and neither would my family back then. So I eventually met him again because of a hard time I was having in my life at the moment when I was around 22, I think I was. I was having a really rough time. And I had called my godmother and asked to speak to Harold's mom to see if I could have Harold's number to have him come visit me, or to speak to him to see if he could come and visit me, because I wanted to hang out with him and see him for the first time, even though I had no idea who he was or what he looked like. So I set up that arrangement, and it seemed like it was fate. And the weirdest thing happened. He said for some reason he was at my door. Then all of a sudden, guess who shows up at my door? I look out the window shade, and boom, guess who's walking towards my door? This man. I'm like, yeah, I think fate's trying to tell me something here. And at this point, I was dating my neighbor, Michaela, which I was dating because I didn't want to come out of the closet, because I was scared to. So I'll explain the whole thing, an ordeal going down. She was complaining that he was coming in between us. Coming in between me and her, you know. And technically, that was the truth, because I really, really, really wanted to be with him and not with her. That's why I was always having him over all the time. But he didn't know this. He had no clue. And of course, I didn't know that he was gay at the time. And of course, eventually, he ended up coming out to me. And then after he came out to me, I was like, oh my God, he is actually gay. Fate is definitely trying to tell me something. So I officially came out to him. And then that's when I came out to everyone else. And that's what I meant by he gave me the confidence to come out and be my authentic self. So after I came out, I ended up leaving Michaela, and on Easter, I had called Harold and left him a message. And at this point, Harold had a key to my apartment. I had given him a key. I gave him a key before I gave Michaela a key. That's how much I liked Harold. And I was dating Michaela at the time, and I still gave Harold the key over her. So that'd prove my point right there. Well, I told him that in a message, that I wanted to be with him, and if he liked me, to show up at my apartment when I got home. And I got home, and he showed up And we decided to go out. And ever since then, we've been together for 8.5 years and haven't broken up. And we've been happy ever since. And we started a YouTube channel, and there you go. So, yeah. So that's the story. But hope you guys have a wonderful day, and hope you enjoyed our story. But also, just so you know, for me with him, it was an instant attraction, and for him, it was over time. You know, like over a time period. So for us, it was two different things. Just so you know. But I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. God bless you. This will probably be our last video on Thanksgiving. And I hope you like the content. And if you do, like, comment, and subscribe. And share with your friends. Hope you have a good day. Love ya. And you'll just say your intro.
This is Dr. Newt signing off.
Bye-bye.